Okay, folks, so I want to read another chapter here from The Last President. Go back here. This is an archived ebook. There'll be a link in the description for The Last President, which was published on September 28th of 1896. So we were on chapter 5. Oh, no, that's too far. Here we go. Chapter 5. And just real quick, just let you know, hopefully the audio is going okay. I'm sitting outside. It's a really nice, cool day out here in southern Nevada, so it's really nice outside. So hopefully there's not a lot of background noise coming in, and the audio will be okay. And I'll say welcome to the new subscribers. Um, I'm working on a 500 subscriber celebration video because I'm just silly like that, and it's kind of a milestone. So I kind of want to acknowledge it and say welcome to the new subscribers, and hopefully, um, while you're taking a look at some of the recent uploads, you'll check out some of the other playlists that I've created concerning some of the weather modification activities and some of the sky views and some of the unusual and bizarre events that I've captured around here in southern Nevada. Um, you know, we're located here in Henderson. We're within 15 miles of the Nellis Air Force Base. So I see a lot of interesting stuff going around here. So if you're here to check out, the Maui meetings, or whether you're here to check out some of the information on weather modification or some of the local sky views around southern Nevada here, I appreciate it, and just say welcome. And again, because I'm repetitive, is something that you'll learn in watching my videos. I am repetitive. And because I am repetitive, I just have to remind y'all that I'll be uploading a 500 subscriber celebration video here soon. And I chose 500 items. And I'm wondering if anybody can guess what those 500 items are. I still have those balloons. They're kind of half deflated, but they're still up there in that room from the 400 sub celebration. So anyway, this is chapter 5 of The Last President, published in 1896. All right. By proclamation bearing date the 5th day of March, 1897, the President summoned both houses of Congress to convene an extraordinary session for the consideration of the general welfare of the United States, and to take such action as might seem necessary and expedient to them on certain measures which he should recommend to their consideration, measures of vital import to the welfare and happiness of the people, if not to the very existence of the Union and the continuance of their enjoyment of the liberties achieved by the fathers of the Republic. Interesting choice of words. If not to the very existence of the Union and the continuance of their enjoyment of the liberties achieved by the fathers of the Republic. Hmm. While awaiting the day set for the coming together of the Congress, the great friend of the common people came suddenly face to face with the first serious business of his administration. 50,000 people tramped the streets of Washington without bread or shelter. Many had come in quest of office, lured on by the solemn pronouncement of their candidate that there should be at once a clean sweep of these barnacles of the ship of state, and so complete had been their confidence in their glorious young captain that they had literally failed to provide themselves with either purse or script or shoes, and now stood hungry and footsore at his gate, begging for a crust of bread. But most of those making up this vast multitude were, in quotes, the unarmed warriors of peaceful armies, like the one once led by the redoubtable Coxey, decoyed from farm and hamlet and plantation by some nameless longing to go forth to stand in the presence of this new savior of society, whose advent to power was to bring them double pay for all their toil. While on the march all had gone well, for their brethren had opened their hearts and their houses as these unarmed warriors had marched with flying banners and loud huzzas through the various towns on the route. But now the holiday was over. They were far from their homes. They were in danger of perishing from hunger. What was to be done? "They are our people," said the President. "Their love of our country has undone them. The nation must not let them suffer, for they are its hope and its shield in the hour of war, and its glory and its refuge in times of peace. They are the common people for whose benefit this republic was established. The kings of the earth may desert them. I never shall.
The Secretary of War was directed to establish camps in the parks and suburbs of the city and to issue rations and blankets to these luckless wanderers until the government could provide for their transportation back to their homes. Hmm. On Monday, March 15th, the president received the usual notification from both houses of Congress that they had organized and were ready for the consideration of such measures as he might choose to recommend for their action. The first act to pass both houses and receive the signature of the president was an act repealing the Act of 1873 and opening the mints of the United States to the free coinage of silver at the ratio of 16 to 1, with gold, and establishing branch mints in the cities of Denver, Omaha, Chicago, Kansas City, Spokane, Los Angeles, Charleston, and Mobile. The announcement that reparation had thus been made to the people for the crime of 1873 was received with loud cheering on the floors and in the galleries of both houses, and the great North heard these cheers and trembled. The next measure of great public import brought before the House was an act to provide additional revenue by levying a tax upon the incomes substantially on the lines laid down by the legislation of 1894. The Republican senators strove to make some show of resistance to this measure, but so solid were the administration ranks that they only succeeded in delaying it for a few weeks. The first skirmish with the enemy, however, brought the president and his followers to a realizing sense that not only must the Senate be sworn of its power to block the new movement of regeneration and reform by the adoption of rules cutting off prolonged debate, but that the new dispensation must at once proceed to increase its senatorial representation. For who could tell what moment someone of the northern silver states might not flip away from its allegiance to the friend of the common people. The introduction of a bill repealing the various civil service acts passed for the alleged purpose of regulating and improving the civil service of the United States, and of another repealing the various acts establishing national banks and substituting United States notes for all national bank notes based upon interest bearing bonds, opened the eyes of the Republican opposition to the fact that the president and his party were possessed of the courage of their convictions and were determined, come good report or evil report, to wipe all conflicting legislation from the statute books. The battle in the Senate now took on a spirit of extreme acrimony. Scenes not witnessed since the days of slavery were of daily occurrence on the floors of both the House and the Senate. Threats of secession came openly from the North, only to be met with the jeers and laughter of the Silver and Populist members. "We're in the saddle at last," exclaimed a Southern member, "and we intend to ride on to victory." The introduction of bills for the admission of New Mexico and Arizona and for the division of Texas into two states to be called East Texas and West Texas, although each of these measures was strictly within the letter of the Constitution, fell among the members of the Republican opposition like a torch in a house of tinder. There was fire at once, and the blaze of party spirit leapt to such dangerous heights that the whole nation looked on in consternation. Was the Union about to go up in a great conflagration and leave behind it but the ashes and charred pedestals of its greatness? "We are the people," wrote the president in lines of dignity and calmness. "We are the people, and what we do under the holy sanction of law, and there is no one so powerful or so bold as to dare to say we do not do well in lifting off the nation's shoulders the grievous and unlawful burdens which preceding Congresses have placed upon them." And so the long session of the 55th Congress was entered upon, fated to last through summer heat and autumn chill, and until winter came again, and the Constitution itself set limits to its lasting. And when that day came, and its speaker, amid a wild tumult of cheers, arose to declare it ended not by their will, but by the law of the land, and he said, "The glorious revolution is in its brightest bud. Since the President called upon us to convene in last March, we have, with the strong blade of public indignation and with a full sense of our responsibility, erased from the statute books the marks of our country's shame and our people's subjugation. Liberty cannot die. There remains much to be done in the way of building up. Let us take heart and push on. On Monday, the regular session of this Congress will begin.
We must greet our loved ones from the distance. We have no time to go home and embrace them.
It's kind of curious, huh? All right, I'll do chapter 6 in another reading. Maybe yet today, I don't know. And it's kind of nice outside. I'm enjoying sitting out here, so maybe I'll try and do another chapter. Anyway, more to come if I can help it.